What you're seeing me do there is breathing in 2 seconds, holding 4 seconds, and out 2 seconds. I did that for 10 minutes prior to this hold. You're soon to see me take 5 purge breaths. There you go. Notice no deep exhale on the final one. Breathing in, full breath, no packs. And then cruise. For the next 3-4 minutes, nothing's really going on. This is kind of my phase where I'm just kind of trying to pass the time. It gets kind of boring. Everybody has different ways of doing it. I do different things. I sing portions of songs to myself. I talk to myself. I do various things related to self-hypnosis at times. Anything to forget what I'm doing, which is absolutely nothing. That's what I call this breath hold thing. I call it doing as little as possible for as long as possible. And that's what I'm doing right now, as little as possible for as long as possible. You won't see any movement at all for a while here. I'm pretty good at staying still this part of the hold. Where it gets tough for me to sit still is toward the end. You'll see that coming up here in a couple minutes. If you have any questions about this hold or other holds that you've ever seen me do, I do have this complete workout and others on my MSN space. You can download and look at them if you want. Just fire me off a message to my channel and I'll hook you up with the link. Just be aware that not everything that I do will work for you, is just like not everything you do would work for me. This is just an example of what might work at some point. And always exercise proper safety precautions. Notice I'm not training in water. The reason for that is I don't have anybody to supervise and be a safety monitor. So another thing is to not excessively hyperventilate. And one of these days I'm going to get somebody to define for me what that means exactly. What is excessive hyperventilation? If you look at strictly from a medical standpoint, anything more than normal tidal breathing is hyperventilation. In fact, there's an actual name for it. If you're, there are people that breathe too much on a regular basis and they're constantly hyperventilated. So anyway, if somebody wanted to define that for me, feel free to fire me a definition. I've seen a bunch of different ones, but basically anything more than normal tidal breathing is hyperventilation from a medical standpoint. So we all do it to some extent. The trick is controlling it. The idea being you want to maximize the amount of useful oxygen you have at the end of a hold, and if you blow off too much CO2, the Bohr effect will cause the oxygen to stay tied to your hemoglobin molecules, and it'll be there, but it'll be useless to you. So, and I'm living proof of that too. So, anyway, always be safe. Number one thing. That's why I do these kinds of holds on the ground. I figure I got less of a distance to fall if something goes wrong. At some point here coming up, you'll see me start to push my tummy out a little bit. What I'm doing there is pushing air from my upper lung to my lower lung, Seems to reduce discomfort. You'll see that increasing in intensity and frequency as the hold progresses. None of this hurts, by the way, not even all the way up to the 7-minute point. I'm not in any kind of pain or anything like that. It's not like contractions. But this is something I can control during the hold to do a specific purpose for me. Whether it will work for you or not, I have no idea, but it seems to work for me, at least now. You can see it, it's obvious there now. Again, as the hold progresses, that will increase in intensity. So you can move my legs around. You know, like I said, don't fire me an email telling me I move too much. I know that already. Right now, in a perfect world, you should be still and not looking at your clock or your pulse oximeter. Well, I'm a bad boy. I always like to look at them, so I'm doing a lot of this for personal research. As an example, today at the 4-minute point, my pulse oximeter reading was 98%. That's real good for 4-minute point. That's what gets you to 7 minutes, is being able to use. What that shows is you're still using air out of your lungs at the 4-minute point. You're still pulling oxygen out of your lungs. That's a useful fact to know. At some point here in the near future, you'll see me turn over on my side. I was kind of expecting contractions. I think I expected about the 6.5-minute point. Well, I rolled over on my side to kind of make that a little bit easier. There you go. You see me rolling over now. Turns out the contractions never showed up, so I just roll right back over again. No great difficulty going to 7 minutes. It was work. It was hard work, but I got there to 7 minutes. It ended up being 7:01 or 7:02 or something like that. I call it 7 minutes. Easy enough. Here it comes.